they realize North Carolina's purple, starting to trend blue. Oh shit, let's fuck this up. If we are leaving, we're going to fuck this up for everybody. We're not going to play nice. We're going to throw our temper tantrum. And then, like Dex said, basically, you can look to the states to see what's going to happen in your, government. And this doesn't bode well. It doesn't. And the fact that they can get away with this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. Just insane.
I think America is like step by step starting to feel more like the movie Revenge of the Nerds, with the Republicans being the alpha betas and the rest of us were the nerds sitting here going, but don't worry, because I can ride a mean tricycle, and I know you can drink the beer, so it'll be great. We'll be doing all right. When our field day comes around, it's going to be glorious.
Yeah. This is
so. Yeah, I don't know. It's scary that it really is. They are acting like overgrown children, and they're doing the exact same thing they keep accusing the Democrats of doing, which is just being a bunch of crybabies. And
yeah, that's a great point. And the fact that like it's been mentioned before, they keep saying, "Oh, you need to, play nice, and you need to not be partisan and work together." And they can't work with anybody.
Yeah, because they were so kind and progressive when Obama got elected.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
Well, they forgot about all of that.
They forgot about all the effigies that they were burning and hanging and all of that fun stuff.
Oh.
And the birthers.
Somebody should tell them that the internet is forever, and we could go back and look this stuff up. Like, seriously.
No.
I think that comes back to bite Trump on a daily basis.
Remember that he's tweeted things like years ago that people started dragging back up. Like, oh, Obama got elected. We should be in the streets and protesting, and we should not accept him as a president. But yeah, as soon as he gets elected, that's, oh, you guys should just settle down and just deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't be crybabies. Pull your big girl panties on, and all that stuff.
So how do you answer that, though? I mean, there's no way to answer this, is there? Like, they're just gonna be like that. They're just gonna contradict themselves, and it's so frustrating, guys.
That seems to be the standard.
The answer is that you just, we have to scale all the way back and start doing stuff at the very ground level. Mm-hmm. You start putting Democrats in county commissioner positions, city council positions. I mean, it's going to take us 15, 20 years to get ourselves out of this mess, so that you can get not only enough people in positions on the local level, but the more positions that you have on the local level, and the more people who see that these types of policies make their lives better, the more likely they are to vote as Democrats down the line. Because this whole, they've been doing this witch hunt for the last 10, 15 years of how awful Democrats are and what a horrible thing they've done to the country and all that stuff. And these people buy into it because they're all freaking idiots. And they're scared too. People are motivated by fear 90% of the time anyway. So, really, that's like, at this point, that's how you fight it. And it sucks because it's a long-term solution, not while the short term goes to shit.
Well, and the other thing... Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to say, it's just the Republican Party has gotten so good at using fear tactics and big, scary words to get their voters rushing to the polls and voting the way that they want them to.
That is exactly where I was going. Yeah, I mean, because they're scared, so they vote. So for the people whose lives are pretty okay, they have no incentive to vote, usually, unless they are just interested in their government continuing to work well. But
Imagine
there are a lot of people who don't vote.
Well, and again, that's where, unfortunately, our party falls short all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Think about how abysmal the voting level is. It's like, 54%?
Yeah. I saw so many people before the election that were like, oh, I'm not going to vote because it doesn't matter anyway. And then after the election, they were mad because they're like, well, why did you vote for this guy? Well, why didn't you vote?
Exactly.
Oh, well, exactly.
Oh.
Well, and what's scary is that, living in a country like America, and so many people haven't gone through things like other international countries have gone through, and you don't think that, the scary stuff that you see on the news could happen here, but we're really not that far off. I mean, if we've got a president-elect who's already provoking other countries and pissing off the wrong people whose fingers are right there next to the little red button, I mean, we really could be just like any one of these countries that's getting bombed on a daily basis.
And our election process was hacked. That's a lot like a lot of other countries.
Yeah, holy cow. And, they're like, oh, well, Obama and Clinton were telling us, well, there's no way to hack into the voting machines. It's not the voting machines that we're worried about being hacked. It's the fact that the Russians and their collaboration, potentially, with Anonymous and with Julian Assange and all of these guys to release these carefully timed bits of information to the media. And I was listening to the Diane Rehm show, and the guy that was talking was saying, they handed the media this bomb, and the media was so concerned with the gossipy aspect of it that we didn't consider the responsibility of detonating it. We went out there and we just let this information loose, and it influenced the voters. So whether or not the actual election, the voting machines themselves were hacked, the election was influenced by an outside agency. That's what it came down to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that just frustrates the hell out of me.
Well, and it frustrates the hell out of a lot of us. It really does. Because now look what we're left with.
Ugh.
And they're so stupid that they're still eating this stuff up, with now we're hearing, oh, well, Trump would have totally won the popular vote if it hadn't been for the millions of
holy crap
who voted.
Oh
are you really? You seriously believe that? You are, and it boggles the brain that these people are willing to believe this, but that's what happens when you look at we're looking at probably 10 years of fake news that's been slowly pushed in.
Well, I saw it on Facebook that there were 2 million.
The Russians are nothing if not frickin' patient. That's, all you have to do is the siege of Leningrad to show you that one.
Well, what else have they had to do? We're just hanging out here, freezing. Wrestling bears. I mean, hey, we got all day, guys. Whatever. Well, I mean, yeah. It's really frustrating, and it's frustrating the mindset of your average Trump voter. And again, going back to, them referring to the Democrats and the liberals as crybabies and whatnot. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a group that popped up that was basically the Anti-Pantsuit Republic Facebook group, and it was called Pantsuit Tears. And basically, it was a group of people that had gone through and infiltrated all the Pantsuit Republic sites, and they were copying personal stories from people and posting them, and basically making fun of it, ripping it to shreds, and posting all these people's personal information. The exciting thing that I think is cool about it is we were getting ready to record this evening. I was going to try to look up, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how long that page had even been up, but I mean, as of right now, even if you try to look it up, I mean, it had something like 27,000 people talking about it. And I mean, it's amazing how well we can rally together. Unfortunately, we didn't have that kind of when it came to let's all go vote.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get social media pages ripped down all day long. But
oh, yeah.
I mean...
I get reported about once a month for something or another.
Well, and I think that's one of our major failing on the left side of things is people are complacent, and we can't get people out to vote for things the way that the right can, and they can stir people up and scare them in their narrow little worlds. Oh, well, we're going to allow the trans people to use the bathroom that coincides with their gender identity.
Well, because
we're going to have men in the women's bathrooms that are going to be chasing these little girls. And no, but we're going to scare people and make them believe that that's true. And you've got all these narrow-minded little people who are going to believe that, where the left, we know, okay, this is bullshit and, this is ridiculous and everything's going to be okay in the end, but we're not going to get off our ass and we're not going to go out and actually vote or actually go and do anything to stop anything from happening because, well, it's going to all work out.
Well, the whole fear-mongering thing has worked so well for a long time, and we have this little book called the Bible that has done a great job of keeping people in check with a lot of things. I'm sorry. It's true.
I agree with Wendy as far as like the midterm elections and whatnot go. I think that's another big thing is getting Democrats out to vote for the midterms, and especially getting just practically everybody out for voting. The depressing thing about this, one of the depressing things about this situation
just
is
pick
that when
one?
you look at the hardcore numbers, we had the frickin' turnout. We had, there were a lot of people out voting, not as many as one would like to see, but, there were a lot of people voting, and a lot of people voted for Hillary, and between the Electoral College and the setup and whatever the Russians managed to pull out of their furry hats, we got screwed.
Well, and that's the thing. If you listened, I listened to an interview with one of the Trump strategists, and he was talking about the targeted efforts that they put forth in all of those battleground states that they really needed to be able to swing the voters just enough to get the electors. And so that's all they had to do. They didn't really care about any of the other big states where the population mass was. They were going specifically for those states where the electoral votes were more than the popular votes. And, he talked about, that's all we were going for. So that's all they cared about. They didn't care about getting the majority. They just wanted the electoral vote. That was all they were going for.
Well, of course, tomorrow is the big day. It's December 19th. That's when all the electors will go in. They will vote however they will vote. And we'll get
Fingers
to see
crossed.
We can see where the chips fall.
We're not actually going to hear about that until the 6th, though.
That is true.
That's the... that's the we'll see, I guess, if this is private aid.
Well, and you've got like 80 of these guys that want we want a security briefing on the whole hacking situation before they vote. I don't know how many, heads that may, sway one way or the other, but I'll take what we can get.
Unfortunately, even if enough electors become faithless electors and vote for somebody other than Trump, it's still going to go to the Senate. And the current Senate will not elect him. So even if we do make the statement where we voted against him and we didn't have faith in the election, it's still going to go to the Senate and he's still going to get in. So we're going to have to put up with him unless he recuses or removes himself from consideration, which I don't think is going to happen, even though I feel like with all the craziness, like we were talking about earlier, with his nominations and picking the worst of the worst, I think it's like Kasich in Indiana, where he put up this dummy 6-week abortion ban in order to distract attention from the fact that what he really wanted to pass was the 20-week abortion ban. And so when he vetoed the 6-week and he signed the 20-week, everybody was so relieved that, he was slightly more reasonable. It's the same thing with Trump and Pence. We're getting to the point where Trump is so over-the-top crazy that now we're looking at Pence as the reasonable choice, as the alternative to Trump.
Yeah, and he's way crazier.
He is very, very quietly over there in the corner.
We're just going to get dragged to death.
Yay!
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that all of this has just been a ruse because Pence couldn't get elected on his own, and so we needed this loudmouth bully to get in there, and then, holy shit, we actually elected him, and he's batshit crazy, so let's go with Pence, because he's quiet over here. He might be okay.
I mean, the guy literally...
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, he just looks creepy.
You gotta watch.
Yeah. I mean, Trump is just like the power-mongering, wants to be in the spotlight, make his business look good kind of guy, and yeah, he's the perfect front for this.
Well, exactly.
Perfect.
It's like the first time he ran against Obama in, what, '08?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
he was trying to push ratings for his television